All right, so this weekend, it is the rematch between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. Now, you've probably seen all of the that these two have been saying. It seems to me like Alex Pereira is a little bit nervous coming into this one. Of course, it is a rematch, and in the first one, Magomed Ankalaev dominated the fight. He did. In my opinion, Alex Pereira didn't do much. He didn't show up. He didn't bite down on the mouthpiece, and he allowed the title and the fight and the victory to slip away. Magomed Ankalaev landed the bigger shots, that's without a doubt. There was a couple of times where he landed a couple of big shots and Pereira was kind of saved by the fence. If it wasn't for the fence, he would have went down. He was backed up against the fence. He was controlled against the fence. He was taken down a little bit. He was controlled a little bit. But the reality was that Alex Pereira didn't really show up. It was certainly a different person than what we saw when he took out the likes of Jamal Hill and when he beat down Khalil Roundtree and when he had that incredible performance over Yuri Prohaska. When he fought Magomed Ankalaev, he was a little flat. He was a little tentative. Now, why was that? Was it because of the schedule? Was it because he was fighting every few months, which is incredible, which is how he built his brand, which is how he became one of the biggest stars in the organization and no doubt has made a tremendous amount of money along the way. And then on top of that, you factor in the fact he was flying all over the world. Remember, he was in Australia a few weeks before the fight. I talked about it. DC talked about it. Everyone was like, hold on. Pereira is literally everywhere, flying all over the world. Maybe he was taking Magomed Ankalaev a little easy. Or was it a case of that he was finally fighting someone that he can't physically dominate, someone that is his size, someone that's as strong or if not stronger, someone that can take his shots, someone that can land back and actually hurt Alex Pereira and make him think twice about attacking? Okay, we don't know. We don't know. What we do know is that Pereira said, listen, I was flat. That wasn't me. I didn't really show up. And this time, I'm going to make it look easy. And then after I'm done with you, we are never going to fight again. Okay? That seems like a weird one to me. Unless Pereira goes out there and absolutely smokes him. I talked about this recently. They've got to do a rubber match. Now, you might have seen this week, though, these two have been bumping into each other. Pereira's claiming that Magomed Ankalaev was hiding from him at the PI, which is just kind of crazy. In fact, we have a transcript of what was said. So apparently, Pereira shows up at the PI. He said that the receptionist said that he was hiding from him in another room. You might have saw the video. Pereira said, oh, he's hiding from me and all the rest of it.
Se esconder na sala, velho, porque eu tô no mesmo ambiente, velho. Ah, pô, o cara é frouxo.
When these two finally see each other, Ankalaev says to him, why did you say I was hiding? Pereira says, everyone saw that. The girl working there said that you were hiding. Ankalaev responds and says, which girl said that? Show it to me. I was getting treatment. Pereira says, we've got it on video. We filmed it, okay? Ankalaev said, what the girl said doesn't matter. You wanted to see me? Well, guess what? I'm here. Pereira says, what's the point now? You can say whatever you want. We can't fight now. Ankalaev responds, makes no difference to me. Anytime. And Pereira says, look, we're professionals. I respect you, but on October 4th, I will hit you and I will slap your face. So that's a little bit weird. I mean, for Pereira to be claiming that Ankalaev was hiding from him. I mean, Ankalaev isn't the type of guy to hide, okay? And then, of course, he went on to call him a shit champion, okay? I said he's a terrible champion.
Que campeão é esse, velho? Que campeão de merda, velho. Aí, achei a única besteira que eu falei, mas é campeão de merda, velho, cara desse.
Now, granted, Pereira was a good champion. He was showing up at events. He was doing signings. He was everywhere. And he was tangible. And he was someone that the fans could interact with. You know, he was doing a lot of appearances. He was a face of the sport. And he was kind of giving back to the sport. But he was also living in the moment and enjoying the experience. Magomed Ankalaev is a quiet guy. He's a stoic guy. He flies back to the mountains of Dagestan. He's not all over social media. He's not talking shit. He's not accessible like Pereira was. And that's why Pereira came out and said, he's a champion. Well, that's not all the talking that he's done. Here is what Pereira said recently. He said, he is not an exciting fighter. He barely did anything to me on my worst day. What can this guy do? I'm locked in. This will be a different fight. And of course, that's what you're supposed to say. And of course, that's what Alex Pereira has to do. This has to be a different fight. If he shows up like he did last time, he's going to get dominated once again. And of course, this time, Ankalaev knows that he can take the shots from Alex Pereira. Granted, as I say, Pereira didn't throw much. He was very, very tentative. He didn't really do much of anything. But there's a lot of unknown questions going into a fight. It's like, whoa, this guy's knocking everyone out. Can I take his shots? Well, the answer is yes, he can. Now, it's a bit different if Pereira was to swing full force and connect flush. He'd probably knock anyone out. The man has ridiculous power. But Ankalaev does know he can take the shots. He does know that he can back him up. He does know that he can hurt him. And he also knows that he can take him down. Now, remember, Ankalaev isn't really the type of guy that's going to go out there and just wrestle the whole time. But the fact that he does have the wrestling in the back pocket, the fact that he has the threat of the takedown, that does cause Pereira to hesitate. It does cause the striker to have a lower volume, and it does cause the striker to be a little more tentative, because as soon as you throw a right hand, they're going to shoot underneath, they're going to grab a single leg, push you up against the fence, and then the crowd are going to start booing because they're going to lose their minds, right? Ultimately, Alex Pereira, the question I'm asking at, is Ankalaev in his head a little bit? Is Ankalaev living in his head rent-free, is a popular expression that people use these days? Let me know in the comment section. I don't know if he is. I think Pereira is pissed off. I think Pereira takes his fighting very, very seriously. And of course, it's something that he's immensely proud of. And last time he got beat. And not only did he get beat, he got beat in a lackluster fashion. His belt was taken from him. And he sees that Ankalaev is walking around as the better guy, as the champion who's taking everything I've worked for.
You're taking everything I worked for, motherfucker. I'm going to fight your ass.
Okay, so he's pissed off, and this is a little bit personal. And Ankalaev is a stoic guy, and he doesn't seem intimidated one little bit, and that's kind of probably getting to Pereira just a little bit. The reality is, all of this builds up to a tremendous fight this week, and I can't wait for this one because, as I say, they have answered a lot of questions about one another. Ankalaev does know he can take his shots, and Pereira knows that he's got to be busier. If Pereira's going to win this fight, he's got to go forward. It's as simple as that. Now, he might have been burned out. He might have been having too many fights. He might have been a little bit jet lagged. He might have been traveling on too many time zones. However, you can't take that away from Magomed Ankalaev. That's not his fault. And this time, Pereira can't have any excuses. So I think we're going to see Alex Pereira go out there, use a lot of feints, try and put Magomed Ankalaev on the back foot. That is what he's got to do. He can't allow Ankalaev to dictate the geography in the octagon. He can't allow himself to get backed up. He can't allow himself to skirt along the side of the fence. Now, of course, when you're against the fence, it's easier to defend takedowns. You can use whizzers, you can fight for underhooks and all the rest of it. And when you get pushed forward, you lean on the fence. So that's why a lot of strikers like Leon Edwards, like Alex Pereira, when they're fighting a wrestler like Ankalaev, they will stay close to the fence. And if they are taken down, you can use the fence to get back to your feet. It is a lot easier to get back to your feet with the fence than what it is out in the center of the octagon. When you're in the center of the octagon, you're trying to build a base. All the wrestler has to do is push forward or turn the angle, and you're back flat on your back again. That's why they like to stay near the fence. That's why he allowed himself to get backed up, controlled, call it a lackluster fight, call it a boring fight, call it a fight where the crowd was booing. Doesn't matter. Ankalaev clearly won. So as I say, in this fight, Pereira has to go forward and he's got to be the aggressor. And if he does that, I am telling you, Saturday night, UFC 320, we're in for an absolute banger. Anyway, let me know who you think wins this fight. Let me know what you think about everything what I just said. Subscribe and ring the bell, and I'll see you soon.